has been spectacular. And in fact, they've even gone further ahead percentage-wise than gold and silver have. But they are basically industrial metals, and much more so than gold and silver. And so I think there'll be a catch-up by gold and silver on a percentage basis over the next couple of years. But they have done very well, and they are good investments. I like the fact that gold and silver have been monetary metals in the past, and I always look forward to the time that maybe we might have enough problems that we have to use them to commence trade with. And so I like to stick to them, but platinum and palladium have done very well and probably will continue to, but probably not as good a performance as gold and silver because they've already run up in front of them. The other part of the question was
income-producing trusts.
Oh, yes. The only ones that I have looked at and have liked are the oil and gas trusts.
Exactly, those family partnerships. It can also be used as a family partnership, correct?
Right, and they're yielding about 7% a month, 7% on an annualized basis, and they pay every month. And for people who are elderly who need more income, then that's a good way to go. But it's not without risk, too, because if the price of oil went to $40 a barrel, the value of the security that you purchase certainly would go down, even though the dividend would still be there for you. On the other hand, if oil were to go from $75 to $115 a barrel, then the value of the security, the trust, would go up. And so there is a play in the market there. But you can't get that kind of yield anyplace else, and it's a natural resource. And with all the nasty things that are going on in the world, there's a good chance that they could make oil go higher.
Well, it's just like gold or silver comes out of the ground, or platinum. I mean, it's a raw material that has always had intrinsic value. I appreciate your call, John. Let's go to Mark in Oklahoma. You're on the air, Mark.
Good afternoon. How are you all doing this afternoon?
Good, sir. Welcome.
Hey, I woke up to your show about a couple of years ago from an anonymous lady, and believe it or not, I can't even find her name in the phone book. I don't even know who she is now. So anyway, that's you can call that divine providence, I guess. But I've been able to wake up several people here in Oklahoma, and what I wanted to talk about is I went to an energy conference this past Wednesday here in Oklahoma, and a Rhodes Scholar was speaking as a keynote speaker at lunch, and he was talking about CO2 and carbon trading and carbon taxes. And at the end, he opened it up for questions. And so I said that, oil went from $80 to $140 very quickly. And I said that was in due large part to derivatives trading by Goldman Sachs bankers. And now you're sitting here telling us that we should trust the same people. They're going to be allowed to trade these same derivatives on carbon, which would raise prices for all energy in general. And so that creates another economic choke point. So why should we trust the very same people that got us into trouble in the first place?
It's a solution to a non-issue. What did he say to that?
Well, he had no comment. He was taken back by it that someone in the audience was even aware enough to ask the question. And I had several people that come up to me at the end and said, why don't you run for office? And I said, oh, no, if I was in office, I couldn't ask that question.
Well, here's the good news. These different mercantile exchanges having these carbon credits, they've gone from over $100 down to 50 cents. I mean, I've seen cases of that. They're all gone from blue chip, high quality AAA stuff down to penny stocks. Bob Chapman?
That's right. And, it's this business of carbon taxation is an absolute scam. And, of course, the whole thing is run by Al Gore and other members of the Council on Foreign Relations, et cetera. And this is the way they want to fund what they want to fund, not only in the United States but worldwide. And they just don't want to give up. I mean, you and I covered this in a big way about a year ago, especially when we were part of the group that exposed what was going on. And carbon taxes are just another scam, and I'm happy that this gentleman stood up and asked the hard question of, what do you mean, what are you doing? And the speaker had to back off and just stand there and say nothing because someone had exposed him for what he was and just another phony.
Well, this gives the private bankers control over energy, and they state the global government will be run by the 6 mega banks, and they will charge you carbon taxes, and you will pay them. And it's just a giant fraud. Hey, we're the bankers that ripped you off. Now pay us money or the earth will die. I mean, it's the oldest trick in the book, and the good news is it's imploding. We're going to jam in Aaron, Michael, and Bill, maybe even Brian, in the final segment straight ahead with Bob Chapman. I'm Alex Jones. This is the GCN Radio Network. GCNlive.com is a great news website as well. They post a lot of our key reports and many others from Ron Paul and others at GCNlive.com. So for other news we haven't covered, GCNlive.com.
You worry, but only because you're paying attention. What's happening in the Gulf of Mexico illustrates an audacity toward nature. A similar audacity called GMO, or genetically modified organisms, means that the quality of commercially grown food may be compromised with our health in the balance. Now that summer's here, what better time to learn about the bounty that nature provides in wild edible food? Let author Linda Runyon show you the best-kept secret in plain sight, that food is everywhere you look. This summer, for the cost of a good meal or two out, you can literally starvation-proof yourself and your loved ones against any future craziness, and put up tons of free food, too. Whatever experiment is being run on us, you can rest assured that Linda's 50 or so staple foods aren't involved. Our foods are their enemy. So go to ofthefield.com or call toll-free 1-888-51-EAT-FREE and take that first step. Make your oasis of food security and nutrition now. That's OFTHEFIELD.com or call 1-888-513-2837. Start now and make 2010 your year of independence.
They helped to create a new world order.
We are part of a new world order.
A new world order based upon collective action.
Invisible Empire is a damning indictment of the globalists through their own words and documents.
The new world order really is a tool for addressing a new world of possibilities.
It means all the world under their control.
The United Nations would take over America. The Trilateral Commission would control the world.
Invisible Empire chronicles how men of power and influence have worked in stealth for centuries to establish an oppressive world government.
I believe, first of all, that we now need nothing short of a world constitution for the global financial system.
Global governance with the establishment of the G20.
So it's going to be an inner ruling elite and then everyone else. And I got news for you. You're everyone else.
Invisible Empire. Secure your copy today at Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com, or watch it online in the highest quality at PrisonPlanet.tv.
Afraid to answer it? Afraid to answer your door? Did you know that debt settlement, bankruptcy, and attorneys will cost you about 10 times more than you would legally be required to pay creditors? These are not ways to help you get out of debt. They are expensive payment plans. And if you're in debt already, does it make sense to load yourself up with another payment plan? Zero debt in 90 days gets you out of debt in 90 days, guaranteed. And that's the website you need to visit right now, ZeroDebtGuaranteed.com. Zero debt in 90 days gets you out of debt without a payment plan and without attorneys or going to court. ZeroDebtGuaranteed.com is the quickest solution to debt relief on the planet. If you have more than $25,000 in credit card debt, student loans, or difficult mortgage situation, we can help, and we are the only organization to provide written guarantees on the results. Go to ZeroDebtGuaranteed.com. That's ZeroDebtGuaranteed.com.
Well, I'm not the kind of kiss and tell, but I've been seen with Farrah. I've never been with anything less than a 9. So fine.
All right, it's a final segment here. We're just doing our best to get people to wake up to how crazy things have gotten. And this happens every time in history. You let corruption take over, it gets worse and worse and worse till the society collapses, and the crooks don't care. It's outrageous. But now they've engineered the collapse into their profit scheme, with the White House science czar now giving press conferences saying, post-industrial, we want to destroy America. And they're clapping, yay, it's wonderful. The Depression's good to lower our carbon footprint. You can't make up stuff like this. Up next is Aaron in California. You're on the air with Bob Chapman.
Hey, Alex and Bob, thanks for taking my call. And I'd just like to say I'm a new listener, first-time caller, and reason why I'm a new listener is because my buddy, who's a city inspector down there in Austin, he's a big fan of yours. So anyway, just want to get to my question here. I wanted to ask Bob and you, where do you think the economy's going? Because in my situation, me and my wife, we purchased a house 2 years ago out here in California, and in 2 years it's already underwater, $150,000. And this is kind of like my retirement and everything. We're all rolled into one. And I'd just like to know or hear any suggestions that you might want to give to me should I get out? Should I let the bank have it or what?
Well, I know what Bob's going to say. You'd have to look at your particular financials to give you advice. And, of course,
I mean, we're current in everything on our loan and stuff. We're not behind on our payments at all. We've never been behind. And the bank just doesn't want to – they don't want to work with us as far as modification or anything.
I believe some laws were passed to make them do that, but it's not being enforced. Bob?
That's correct. And the banks really don't want to make any deals. They just as soon have the houses and dump them into the market. And I think they're going to end up with a lot of houses, and I think that's the final intention. But I think you should see how it goes. Are you in Southern California?
Yes. He said yes. His audio was real low.
Oh, and so I think you can expect next year that you'll probably, and maybe into the year after, you'll probably see another 10 to 20% drop in the value of the home. But if you're willing to stay there and you can make the payments and that doesn't bother you, that's fine. But on the other hand, if you don't want to continue to be in an underwater home, you just walk away from it.
Well, see,
in California is a state you can do that.
Well, the thing is what I'm afraid of is if the economy crashes, I'd like to be prepared, and it just doesn't make sense for us to keep spending $4,000 a month versus $2,000 a month in renting. But the thing is, I got kids, and I want to make sure my kids are safe and protected and taken care of, that I can provide for them.
Well, I understand you live in California, but that's a state I'd get out of. I mean, if you have your druthers and could get out of California, I'm not telling you what to do with your particular case, sir, but me, I wouldn't be anywhere near California. Bob?
Move to Austin. But, the point is, the best thing to do is really to walk away. That's a large monthly payment. And you can rent a house in California for probably $1,800, $2,000 a month. That's a heck of a lot cheaper.
Well, God bless you, and I thank you all for your advice, and thanks, Alex, for doing our country, for everything you do out there.
Okay, well, listen, we're almost out of time, Aaron. Sorry to hear that you're in that situation. That's why it's so painful to really be aware of what these globalists have done. But thank you. Michael, Bill, Brian, Jesse, we're out of time. I'll be back Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. Central with the abbreviated Sunday broadcast. Bob, Lord willing, will be back next Friday in the third hour. I appreciate the crew doing the great job, the Genesis Network, all of our sponsors, all of you out there that make this transmission possible. We'll continue to try to get the word out and wake as many people up as we can. Also, be sure and support all of our local affiliates by spreading the word about them and supporting their sponsors. Couldn't do it without them.
You are listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Listen up, friends. This is Alex Jones with key information. The mainstream media is now admitting that we're going